Hello everybody and welcome to Scrolls News. Just going to do a quick video. I don't know how long this video will actually be because I have quite a bit to talk about. But I'm going to cover all the things that have happened in the Scrolls world recently. Recently being the past week, 2 weeks since beta came out. Now, first things first, I have a summer cold because England hates me and gives me winter illnesses in the sunny times. Basically, it's the message that I should never go outside ever, and so I shall never go outside ever. So if my voice sounds a bit different, or if there's any, moments of pause where I'm like, over in the corner, that's why. It's 'cause England hates me. Now, today in Scrolls, we have upgraded to 0.94.3, and along with that we've got some new toys, but first, let's discuss the previous update, which was the update that took us to 0.4.2, and this is the first time that we've seen Scrolls go into the third point. I mean, it went, throughout the entire of Alpha, it was 0. something something, 0. something something, 0. something something, now it's 0.0 something something point! Just so you know, these changes seem to be a bit smaller before they announce these larger patches, and I guess maybe that's because they don't want to rush straight to that 1.00 patch. Possibly. Now, 0.94.2 introduced a lot of flavor text to a lot of scrolls, and so they've got the more of the lore put into the game now, with a lot of the blander scrolls having their description. Like InfoBrave had nothing in that massive box, and that now has a description. Stuff like that. The Canon Automaton now has the keyword Armor 1 instead of its long description, which means that Armor 1 is a keyword we can expect to see coming up quite a lot on other scrolls in the future, in the same way that Relentless and Ranged Attack do currently. And other than that, we've just had a little bit of rule text updating to make things a bit more clear. Now, an important thing is that opponents surrendering used to not yield as much gold as opponents being beaten before. In order to make this a little less harsh on players, and to allow people to surrender if they think things really aren't going their way, because otherwise you lose half your gold if your opponent surrenders, they fixed it so that now you get 60 idle gold when your opponent surrenders, no matter what. So that gold has, instead of losing half your gold, you lose maybe 50, and it's much less of a huge hit on your wallet for your opponent surrendering. So surrendering will hopefully be frowned upon a little bit less in the upcoming few weeks. Now, let's get on to the good stuff. 0.94.3. We have had 3 new scrolls added to the deck library. We have the Noadi. I'm gonna go ask Carl and Liza how to pronounce that. So I have a developer word on how to pronounce Noadi. That's how it's being pronounced. I asked, how on earth do you pronounce Noadi? The response was, no clue. It's English for the word Noid, which is Sami, which is northern Swedish, Norway and Finland, and it means nature shaman, sort of, so I'm guessing that's a loose translation. And so the way I've been pronouncing it in the office is no idea. So how do you pronounce Noadi? No idea. So that's that's going to be one of those fun things that every time I say it, I'm going to say it differently. I'll start naming it something else. Don't know what. This will be fun though. Noadi is a human kinfolk with the cost that makes it an auto-include in every single growth deck ever. Because 3 growth is a huge deal, because growth has been missing a 3-drop since the dawn of time, and this guy also causes you to gain resources for playing him that are permanent, as opposed to the Veta. Now, the type of resource that you gain depends on what your opponent is playing, which means that it's going to work quite well in dual and multi-resource decks. It's going to work very well in growth decks that are playing against growth, and because of the potential of that mirror match, it will probably be played quite a lot. Its stats are a 3-2-2, which means that it's easy to kill. It's not going to hang around for very long once it's in play. It dies to Quake, it dies to Spark, it dies to 2 Kabonks, or It dies to most things. So I wouldn't worry about it hanging around, but it has the 3 attack. That means that it is a serious contender in a fight. So don't count it out just because of that 2 health. It's not quite on par with the Scattergunner, but it's good. I mean, it doesn't kill a lot of things, but it certainly gets them to the point where a Ragged Wolf can finish them off, and that's always good. Now, efficiency is interesting. I guess the point of efficiency is that you play it in an energy order deck where energy is the primary resource, because the way it works is by basically making your creature earn you energy to spend when it kills something. And it can be any unit killing any unit. Which is interesting, because you play it on a destroyer, and that destroyer kills like a bunch of Ragged Wolves. You can gain a lot of resources from that, and really start to ramp quite high in your energy. Now, I don't know how much play I expect this to see, because that +1 attack isn't really huge. There aren't a huge amount of relentless creatures in energy that would let them ramp through a lot of creatures and score that kill, but it could come in useful. Now, so both of those scrolls were really to help out the multi-resource decks in getting their resource advantage going, but this final card is really to help energy maintain some serious board presence. I mean, it's not serious in the fact that it dies quite easy, but I mean, it's a 1-cost energy creature, which we need more creatures in energy, that's been known for a while. But it has the 2 health, means that it survives a Ragged Wolf. It has the ability to kill a creature with 3 or less health in 1 shot, which is nice. It's not going to make you go auto-include, but it's still good. It's still a ranged attack that can be buffed. It's still affected by Bombard, and it can kill a cannon automaton that's been wounded without having to go through the it takes reduced damage phase. So hopefully that'll allow some of the energy players a little extra board presence to get them those wins with the use of things like, your final attacks, because the structures are just too weak. Okay, well that's all of the new Scrolls covered. Now let's jump onto the big news coming from Scrolls Guide, and that is the Scrolls Mod Loader Summoner. That is the official name we decided to go for. We're going to call it Summoner. And it's a mod loader that specifically draws from the bank of mods stored on the Scrolls Guide servers, and people can submit their own mods to the servers, but Scrolls Guide personnel will vet them before they're added to avoid any sort of imbalancing based on the fact that mods are being used. Now, the mods that currently are available is one that imports your deck from the Scrolls Guide deck builder using the link. That's very cool. There's another one that records all of your matches and plays them back in-game with the ability for you to pause, press control to view stats and all the same stuff as though you were actually watching a game, which is extremely cool. The fact that it's run in-engine is really quite impressive. And the third thing that will be coming with the release, and that release is happening this weekend, is the player stats. Now, the player stats, they show up in the text box. All of the stuff like games played, their ranking, their rating, and their games won all show up in the text box at the start of the match, so you can see who it is you're playing against. And some people find that it doesn't matter because a good player could have a really bad rating but still wreck you, which is true. But some people just like to know, and I quite like knowing. I don't know why, it's just when I see it and I know how much the player's played, I just feel like I know the player a bit better, as opposed to when it's just like, this could be anyone! So that is coming out this weekend, and anyone can download it. So get your decks built in the deck builder and be prepared to import them. You can also, with the replays, you can share them to a cloud, and anyone can use the link that comes with that deck to download it and watch it. So that will be a very cool little feature, and I'm sure that Kay Baston and the rest of the Scrolls Guide team plan to continue to support that with new features and new exciting additions and things. So I'm sure they're open to suggestions as well. If you want to head over to Scrolls Guide and try and find Kay Baston or something, maybe post it in the comment section of the spoiler for the mod loader that he did. Actually, I wrote that. But yeah, I'm sure they're paying attention to what you suggest for this mod loader, and go for it. I mean, I don't know what their limit is on what they can do, but they've done a lot so far. I wouldn't put much past them. Now, the final thing I'm going to talk about is two apps that are available. One is for your iOS devices and one is for your Android devices. And the iOS app is on screen now, and that is called Explorer-Scrolls Edition. That is available for purchase in the App Store now. And the video will give you a quick demonstration of the things it can do. You can look at scrolls and hit keywords to go see related things to do with those scrolls and do all your searching and adding to favourites. And it's a really cool way to look at everything in scrolls in one digital package. And if you are an Android person, you can go look at the Scrolls Guide app in the store, which does the same sort of stuff. I highly recommend getting at least one of them, depending on which device you have, because I know that I use them and I find them to be very good. I love sitting, like, what was I doing? I think I was waiting to pick up my brother, and I was just looking through scroll stuff and just thinking about deck ideas. That sort of cheesy stuff that you see in adverts. I can't actually do it, so check them out. Certainly handy to have if you really want to check something out. The moment you think about it, like walking along, like, I wonder if Blood Boil would work on Wildling. It does. Oh, but pushback exists. That sort of stuff. So make sure to check those out. They're pretty cool. I think I've covered everything I want to talk about. Yep. Decay is still coming, it's on its way. They just wanted to get a little bit of something out there for you to taste, and that's why these 3 new scrolls have come out. They've also caused some balance with the multi-resource decks, so people are going to be experimenting with them a lot. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. I'm all sorted, and I will speak to you next time. Goodbye.